And welcome to Agents of Speak, the superhero speak companion show to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. As usual, I'm your host, Ben, and with me as usual is Dave, and joining in is some alien freak named John. And as you know, we just watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. a couple minutes ago. No, wait. That doesn't seem right.
Ben.
Yes?
I was in the bathroom.
Uh-huh.
And I saw a sign in the bathroom that said, "John is Hydra."
What? Get him out of here. You're ejected. We can't hear
We can't hear him.
John.
Okay, technical difficulties.
So,
yay!
While he sorts out those technical difficulties, I will clarify, the show was on yesterday. We're recording today because we had some scheduling issues amongst our host pool. I will not name names, but I was the only one available. So, we still can't hear you, John, by the way. We hear nothing. Try turning on your sound and your mic and your computer.
Anyway, as we were saying.
So, hopefully John can get his audio working in the short term, but while he's doing that, I'll frame what we're talking about. Last night's episode was episode number 20 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., called Nothing Personal. Hey, we got some muffled static from our third co-host.
Hello?
Hey, there you go. I got a hello.
No?
I heard hello. Can you hear us?
Oh, you can hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
I can hear you.
That's helpful. You sound like you are in a train tunnel. Inside of a cardboard box underneath a train.
I can but work with what I've got in this undisclosed location.
Okay. So,
Can
John
you
is
hear
in
me?
the undisclosed S.H.I.E.L.D. bunker. One of Nick Fury's private stock. As he has many. I think it's Nick Fury's wine cellar, actually.
Yes. Shh. Wait.
Actually, I think it's his outhouse, but that's okay.
Don't worry, I didn't tell them where it was. I didn't mention anything about Vegas. I'm sorry.
Hey,
shoot! Man, I suck at these things. All right.
Yes.
You're a really bad agent.
I am. So, moving right along. Nothing personal. So let's see. We started with an interesting opening scene with Maria Hill in a guest spot in this episode, which I was happy to see. I think she did I think it was a really interesting part. I know that some people here disagree with me, but it was interesting to see her rapid transition from S.H.I.E.L.D. life over to privatized security.
And talking with Pepper Potts, they're BFFs now.
Yep, that is pretty awesome. So, and then they quickly got, all of her tales shed by the cavalry coming to to talk to her about secret things. So, what do you guys think of the cold open?
Well, as you and I discussed earlier today, the cold open. I mean, the opening was well done. I think they quickly established in that scene Maria Hill and not Maria Hill, the cavalry, Melinda May as the butt kicker that she is. I did think it was interesting the name drop in the opening.
Oh yeah, the who or what is the man thing.
Yes,
that was an interesting
that was good.
Deep cut.
Yes,
definitely good.
So,
go ahead. You mentioned not the first mention in the Marvel Universe of the Man-Thing.
Right, there was a side reference to the Man-Thing previously in Iron Man 3, in that the amongst the henchmen that the Extremis henchmen that were coming after Tony Stark, there was the woman who had the scar on her face. Her name was Ellen Brandt, and Ellen Brandt is actually from the canon of Man-Thing as his wife. So,
right.
It'd be interesting if they're trying to tie those things together somehow.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's interesting because is it hinting at possibly eventually having a Man-Thing movie or
Okay,
having him in the show.
it would be really sad if Man-Thing gets a movie before Wonder Woman.
It's look,
Come on.
we can't keep comparing to when Wonder Woman comes out, because Wonder Woman, it's somebody else's fault and problem, you know. And now if Marvel took over on getting a Wonder Woman movie out, they would get one out toot sweet, but that's not their place, so that's not going to happen.
Toot, sweet,
Yes.
toot, sweet. Oh, sorry.
Thank you for that musical interlude. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they somehow bring Man-Thing as an official character into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But I wouldn't hold my breath. It's probably not coming anytime soon. Maybe in a one-off episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. next season if they end up in the Everglades. But we'll see. So, but we do have so moving on past that opener. We have I think the one thing I really enjoyed with this episode is the self-awareness, in that you jump to Coulson and friends back at the base, wondering what the hell happened and trying to piece the puzzle together, and watching the security footage of what happened and trying to puzzle out, like, so we saw Melinda May walk out, we saw Ward and Skye get on the bus and fly away, but there was really no communication between, and Koenig is nowhere to be found, but he didn't clearly get onto the bus. So they didn't do anything stupid like try to make it seem like somehow they put this together too easily. They had to actually solve the mystery, and I think that was clever. That they were wise about that and made it believable in that they had to sort of puzzle out the course of events.
I thought everything that was done in the base was very well done. I do like how they were puzzling it together, and I loved Fitz's reaction when he reads the message from Skye.
Because they really bonded in what that episode where they were together.
Yeah, that one where they did a mission together.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, and I think that's the thing with Ward in general is he bonded with everybody in that capacity. Like each one in their own way, he got his hooks in there and made himself a part of them, a part of that team, and a part of each of those individuals' lives.
Yeah.
And obviously Fitz was taking it pretty hard, but I think they were all sort of thrown by it in their own way. It's just that they dealt with it in a different way.
Right.
I also loved how Skye was in this episode. She was on, like the whole, like, she was in peril that whole time, and yet she handled it calmly and collectedly. She used her smarts and her agent training and worked the situation to her advantage. Made the whole thing about the thing having a location specific thing that they had to get someplace, and basically it was a way to draw Ward out someplace where she could have him caught. And I thought that was really clever. But
along those lines, and correct me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Because I'm sure you will, Ben. But did it feel like when they were in the plane and when they were in the cafe, all of Ward's lying at that point felt forced? It felt fake at that point. And was it... someone else I was talking to about the show said they kind of took it as he knew that she knew at that point, and he was just playing along. Like they were both playing along, but they both knew that he was Hydra at that point.
Yeah, I think there definitely was probably a point somewhere before it became obviously clear, but in that time frame, somewhere Ward puzzled it out that she was playing with him and knew more than she was letting on. It's hard to say exactly where that point was, and obviously he's not going to show his hand, but he's going to test the waters. And I think that's part of what that is like he was trying a little less hard to sort of piece together, like if he tried a little, if he showed just the corner of his hand enough, would it be enough for her to show hers? Sort of.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
I'd say holding hands with Skye and skipping off into the bus was kind of. I mean, come on.
A little overkill, you think?
Yeah, maybe.
Push a little hard. So
it was just so thin. It was just like, oh, I was looking for the satellite phone to call Coulson, and Oh, I just talked to him. Oh, imagine that. Like, come on,
Yeah.
please. We're not stupid.
No, but
And
I
neither,
think
and neither is Sky.
I think it was believable though. I think she played it how she needed to play it. If she had showed her hand then, she would have been in danger sooner. And by playing it cool, she at least got him to take her to a location where she could do something.
Mhm.
And she managed to work that out. Now, the one thing I do find also interesting with that is as she was sort of just before she was really revealing herself, when she was like blatantly insulting Hydra and Garrett, but
Mhm.
really insulting Lord in the process. I thought that
Yeah.
was great. Like the very blatant, like horrible things, that she was saying about them.
Yeah, you
Like
gotta
you must
love
have felt
that.
so betrayed. Like,
Yeah, like if you worked for Hydra, just how much of a slime would you feel like? You know?
yeah.
It's,
And also,
Yeah,
I like the equivalency to the Nazis was pretty. And he just like he didn't even know what to say to it. I just found that pretty interesting. It
yeah.
speaks to like I wonder what Ward's take in this whole thing really is. Like, does he see himself as a good guy, but
well,
just a part of a
Yeah, he
more
does.
secretive organization?
I think,
Like, how does he
uh,
justify it?
not to jump ahead, but I think a lot of that will be answered in next week's episode because it looks like that's going to be the backstory of how Ward got into Hydra.
Maybe
If anyone watched the previews.
I forgot what the previews are already. That was so 24 hours ago.
I'll be very upset if they pull a he was brainwashed or something.
Yeah,
No, I don't think.
Because
I think there's going to be some kind of tragedy when he was a kid, and that, Garrett took him under his wing, and that kind of a story.
yeah.
yeah, but
There's definitely a
yeah,
foster father kind of feeling.
yeah, that would be okay. But as long as he can't end up trying to come to the good side. He's way over the line. There's no coming back from where he is.
Yeah,
I mean, especially with but I did everything for you, Sky. You know, that body there, it's all for you. He's too crazy at this point.
yeah,
He has to take over Hydra at this point. I'd say,
yeah. But yeah, I really do. I wonder what at the heart of it, like what he thinks about, like how he feels the actions that he's taken are justified, or what ends he thinks justify these means per se. Like maybe
Right.
there's some ideal outcome that he's thinking of that isn't really 100% on the level with what Hydra's really after. Maybe he thinks there's some other end goal that he's not seeing, or that he's not seeing the truth of.
Right. I think they hinted at that when she was calling him out on his stuff, and he was basically like, "Oh, it's not really like that." Trying to, anyone who's in a cult does that. Oh,
yeah.
it's a good thing. No, it's
Yeah.
not like that.
No, you just have to understand from my point of view.
Right.
You have to see
Yes.
things. You have to see things the right way.
Right. It's sort of like what racists justifying that they're not really against people of a different race. They just feel this
Right.
way about them. So
Yes, exactly.
so anyway, so we had that side of the story. There was also the turn of events with the other team. Once they figured out what was going on, figured out that put the puzzled things together and pinpointed where they were. And I love this scene, by the way, when they figure out where the bus is, and Coulson says something like or something. Finally, things going our way or whatever. And then you see that security warning come up on the laptop. He's like,
Yeah.
I should have knocked on wood just then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say that probably in a lot of the last few episodes, but especially in this episode, like I really kind of felt, and maybe it's just the writing, but like Clark Gregg was really on his game in this episode. Like just he had some of the best lines and some of the best looks throughout
Yeah.
the whole thing. It was just it made me smile, that line. I should have
Yeah,
not
no,
done more.
it was good. It was very good. And actually, to as far as cleverness goes, I think Fitz was pretty clever in that whole figuring out that there was a message behind that picture, or figuring
Yeah.
out there was something wrong with the picture at least. Like he was
Yeah.
looking at the two pictures and like this one's daylight and this one's a nighttime scene. It's like this doesn't add up, and
Right.
And figured out and saw the thing holding the picture in place. But yeah, to just mention that and to move past that, there was the whole Talbot comes storming in with his troops, and we see what's her face Maria Hill show up again, with the team, you
Mhm.
know. And what I did love about that, so there was a whole play out of that and whatever discussion that came of that, which ended with like they were about to turn themselves over or turn the place over for them to scour, and Maria Hill gives the sort of uh, code to Coulson. She's like, go ahead, knock yourself out,
Right. Right.
and then they
Yes.
knocked
And I
everybody
loved,
out.
and you see Coulson just unbutton his suit coat, like you knew something was going down when he
Yeah.
did that.
Yep, and he made everyone go night night.
Yeah, he could. It's amazing how much damage two agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. can do to how many soldiers were there? Like 5, 6.
Yeah, 4 or 5 at least. So including Talbot. So yeah, they definitely they know their stuff. So
Yes. Though that was one of the issues I had with the episode was as you alluded to earlier, Ben, was the overall portrayal of Maria Hill at this point, where
She's
yes,
lost the way.
yes, she lost the way, she's lost the fight. Like, oh, Shield's gone, so I'll just go find another source to
yeah, but I
work with
think
for.
Maria Hill is like a cockroach in the Marvel universe. Like she always.
What?
I mean, that doesn't matter
What?
what stuff goes down, she survives it, and she finds a way to keep
Yeah.
her place, keep a stronghold in the world. So,
Or maybe all of that was just a line.
well, she
Maybe it was all
obviously,
just a line.
maybe. I mean, she's supposedly at this point working for Stark. And actually, I was thinking about that some more, and I wonder if this is a way they're gonna twist things that by the time that we get to Age of Ultron, that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will have staged things that now S.H.I.E.L.D. is a private organization, some sort of they'll reuse the name, but as a private security agency that's part of Stark Enterprises or Stark Industries or whatever.
Well,
And we have Director Stark.
Oh God, no.
well, they actually
It's happened in the comics.
last week on Fat Man on Batman, Joe Quesada was a guest, and they were talking about the Marvel universe, the cinematic universe, and the Netflix shows and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But the main thing they were talking about was Captain America, Winter Soldier, and how that affected. Huh?
I've heard that's a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a really good podcast that did a review on it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I've been meaning to check it out.
But anyway, but he was talking. Obviously they were talking about the impact of Winter Soldier on the show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like how big of an impact it was, and he said and he also then said, and there's going to be things in the show that impact the movies.
Oh, absolutely.
Ooh.
I think they're going to use the show as a way to sort of, because there's a gap between, like, we have the next movie we have coming is Guardians of the Galaxy, which arguably is not going to be very terrestrial based. It's going to be mostly in space. So you're not going to see much of what's going on here on Earth in that time frame, right?
Right.
And then what's the next one after that? Is Avengers 2 the next one? And that's not until 2016.
I know next. Yeah.
Is there one in between there somewhere?
No, Age of Ultron's next year.
Yeah.
2015.
2015. All right, so
The two next year are
that's right.
are
The Cap
Age of
3 is
Ultron and
2016.
Ant-Man.
But anyway,
And Ant-Man.
the point is that there's a time gap. We've got
Right.
probably close to a year before we're seeing another Marvel movie. There's a lot of characters they can introduce and things they can stage via the show, so that going into the Age of Ultron movie, things could have happened between Cap 2 and Age of Ultron that
Right.
us as that embedded audience that's keeping track of everything will be aware of. They won't have.
Hydra created Ultron.
Maybe. I don't think so. I don't think that's where it's going to go.
I think one of the most base things you can take from that is if there's no S.H.I.E.L.D. by the time Age of Ultron hits, and who knows where it's going to be, you could turn around and say, well, that Maria Hill can be in the movie because she works for Tony Stark. You know.
Yeah, that's true. That at least sets that up. Makes it a little harder for Nick Fury to be a part of it.
Right, but like what you're also saying is there's that whole next season of show that's going to happen before that movie comes out.
Right.
Which can all be set up for what's going to happen in Avengers 2.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And additionally, the other thing is, like, yes, we know right now that S.H.I.E.L.D. is no more, but the show is called Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They're not changing the name as far as I know.
In fact, Kevin Smith asked Joe Quesada that. He's like, well, they can't be Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore, right? Because there's no more S.H.I.E.L.D. So you guys are changing the name of the show, and he was like, what did he say? Basically, it was like, not that I know of right now.
Yeah.
So basically, he was saying, like almost non-answering it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't think they're going to change the name.
I don't think they are too, which means that there's going to have to be some way that they have to reestablish S.H.I.E.L.D. as an entity in some form. I mean, I guess they could sort of have this team, still call themselves Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and work rogue and be like the, weird Marvel version of the A-Team.
Former but still working Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
Oh, wait, so that's going to be the new opening next season.
Oh, God, no.
Yes.
If you need help and you can find them, maybe you can hire.
So Coulson is clearly, the leader. Why can't I think of his name right now? Murdoch? I forget. No, I'm talking about the A-Team guys.
Hannibal.
Hannibal.
Yes.
So he's Hannibal, but who's his face? And who's the crazy one?
Oh, face. Yeah, Ward would have been right.
So I guess Triplet's face now.
Triplet is face. Melinda May is B.A. Baracus.
And that makes Fitz and Simmons the Murdoch.
Murdoch, yes. They are the crazy kooks.
It all fits.
So, yep. It's perfect alignment. So anyway, I think I contend that they're going to find some way. It's probably not going to happen this season, but maybe in early events in the next season they'll find a way to reestablish S.H.I.E.L.D. in some way, or maybe it will be something that they sort of hint at by the end of this season. Because we do know that Nick Fury we'll see him at least once before this season's over.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Fury is still out there, right? So he's got to be doing something. Yeah,
they've said that many times. He's clearly dead.
Yes, clearly, right. Even though we saw him walk off at the end of last movie.
I mean, that's what
spoilers.
That's what I've been trying to figure out. Like,
there's still 3 people that haven't seen Captain America 2 in the world.
Is that like Maria Hill, who says in this episode, Fury's dead. There is no more S.H.I.E.L.D. Fury's dead, and it's like, but she knows he's alive.
But that's the thing. He doesn't want everyone to know. He wants only a select number of people to know.
And I understand
they're not part of that upper echelon right now.
But why wouldn't Coulson be one of them, though? Because, for God's sake, they brought him back from the dead. He's got to be important to somebody, right?
In theory.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Who did she say it to? She didn't say it to Coulson. She said it to... Or did she say it to Coulson? I know she said it to Melinda May.
Yes, she said it to May in the beginning of the episode.
Right.
And I think she says it to Coulson when they're talking.
Right, but were they alone when she said it?
I don't remember that part. But I do, because I'm also thinking about the argument they start having, and he's just like, drop all the secret stuff. He's like, because you could have told me the secrets and I would have kept him like a good little soldier, But that doesn't matter now. Like I love that speech. It's like I have an agent out in the agent out in the field who's in danger, and we got to drop all this and just go save her.
Yeah.
And and that was the thing. Like once she knew that was on the line, okay, she was in.
Right.
She was gonna help save somebody.
Right.
And once they save her, I'm gonna go work for Tony.
Right. She's going back to her day job. Well, and so I'm gonna contend that like she held the line of Nick Fury being dead because she had to give in audiences. Like obviously Coulson is part of that inner circle that knows because Koenig told him in the last episode or the episode before that or whenever that was. And whether Maria Hill knows that or not, she's going to hold that line because that's the line she's supposed to hold. She follows protocol. And while she knows he's not, as far as anyone's concerned, he is. And so that's the reason for that. Speaking of dead people, though, I was amused by Melinda May's scene where she was digging up Coulson's grave.
Yes. Yeah, we haven't talked about that where she was at the beginning of not the beginning. It was after she
throughout the episode. She went to D.C. to talk to what's her name, to Maria Hill, and presumably the grave was also in D.C., like probably in Arlington or something like that, or S.H.I.E.L.D. sector of Arlington, or their secret version of Arlington. So she.
There's probably a secret base under there too.
Probably. Well, I was surprised that there were secrets in the grave. That was something I did not see coming.
But that seemed like a very Nick Fury move anyway.
It absolutely is. So,
I love when she climbs
the secrets in his grave.
Yeah, I love when she climbs out of the hole and the guy standing there with the flowers. I'm sorry for your loss. This woman just dug up a grave. What's going on?
Right. So yeah. So that sort of brings us to the, well, we can talk a little bit. There was Deathlock obviously shows up and smashes through the party of things, which we sort of glossed over a bit in the mix of things.
I really enjoy that, like, they call him Deathlock, like, throughout the episode. It's not like, oh, Mike Peterson. It's like, Deathlock's on the plane, And,
Yeah. Well, and they sort of addressed that, too, in the fact that, like, she sort of was trying to call him out and it's like, you're Mike Peterson, you have a son. It's like, yeah, and I trust him for you, and now Hydra has him, and so I have to do these things, or I die, or he dies, or both. So he's sort of resigned to that, and it makes sense. So
and that little device was cool that he shoots one in the heart with.
That one was pretty cool, yeah.
I've turned his heart off.
Right. I'm only going to turn it back on if you tell us how to unlock the secrets. Are you a murderer too? Like, we know he is. Are you? That was a clever ploy on his part. Although I'm sure it wasn't all his idea. I'm sure that he was being fed ideas a bit too.
Right.
So
when you think Deathlock will break his chains before the end of this season? He seems to be becoming more and more part of what's going on now.
Right, and I'm curious about that. Like obviously he was in there because Garrett wanted him in there and involved in things. We saw a little exchange between him and Ward afterward. And Ward wasn't so happy with the way things went down. But it's hard to say because I got the impression from at least a couple of the messages that he got in his eyepiece that Garrett wasn't directly pulling the strings, that he has someone who's doing that. He has someone handling Deathlock for him that he has control over, but whether it's directly or not is unclear, in which case, short of Deathlock actually finding, or someone finding that person, and Deathlock being able to be absolutely sure that nobody is pulling his strings and that his son is safe, he really has no choice but to keep following orders.
Right. And I kind of hope they don't resolve his storyline by the end of the season. I would like to see him continue on the way he's going at least the first half of the next season, and then
I'm fine with him being an evil henchman for a while.
Right.
I think they've established that frame well. They've given credence to why he's resigned to following orders. So let him do it. Just let him keep doing it. It's fine.
Great. He's Odd Jobs. Awesome.
it won't be long, you know.
Right.
But we don't need to worry.
It doesn't have to be a major plot point that they are drilling to, unhinging him from these bad guys. It can be
Right,
a side
because
story that they come back to.
right, because they threw a major new plot point at us at the end of this episode.
They did. I didn't seem to notice that.
My only answer to that is, huh.
Yes. So yes, as the guys here are alluding to, the ending where all of Coulson's secrets finally get revealed, and the secret is that it was Coulson's secret in the whole all along. That basically he was the head of the Tahiti project, and he was the one who basically actually wanted to shut the project down because of the side effects that he is experiencing. So that was all pretty interesting.
Well, right. I mean, it was. Wow! It just raised so many questions, you know, because like, obviously, there's more memories that were erased from him. You know, the memory of him being the head of the
they had to. They had to erase. Obviously, they had to really erase not only what he went through to be revived, but everything that he knew about the project to be able to do that. That he'd been heading up for probably months.
Right.
Prior to those events.
And then, and then it's like that's again what I was talking about Clark Gregg being on in this episode, because what other reaction would you have if you watch a video of yourself saying you resigned from S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Tahiti project should be shut down, and that's what brought you back to life? It's like,
yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, what else is there? It was just perfect. Like, I couldn't think of another way to do that.
I would say though that he's faring a hell of a lot better than what he described the other test subjects going through.
That's true, but I think that I still am curious about that though, because like yes, he is faring better because he had been treated the way that he suggested, the only way that worked, which was erasing their memories of the whole process, which they did, and now he knows about it, and he hasn't necessarily gone completely batshit crazy. But he's shown signs. We've talked about it. You know, he's shown signs of being a little bit edgy and a little bit maybe off the rails since that discovery, since that knowledge came out. So.
But wouldn't you be?
Probably, but the question is, will it go so far as him like having a breakdown and not being able to hold his stuff together? I hope not. That would suck because I like him being in the show, and I don't think they have a better choice for a leader, per se. Definitely not Ward now. But it definitely makes it interesting. Now, did he actually say that he was resigning in that video?
Yes.
From S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah, he was tendering his resignation. Yep.
So with that said, that video had to have been put together like the day of or the day before the events in New York in Avengers 1. Because he was working.
That's true.
And when you tender your resignation, it's like, in a normal company it's 2 weeks. And in S.H.I.E.L.D., I'd imagine they probably want to get you out the door and process as quickly as possible. They're not going to give you additional work to do.
No. I think if you resign in S.H.I.E.L.D., you end up actually in the coffin in the cemetery. Yeah. I don't think maybe. That's the whole thing. I don't think you can just resign from S.H.I.E.L.D. So
I'm sure there are people who've retired and they're not dead. It's not Hydra. So not entirely.
Well, wait. No, hold on.
Well, it was Hydra. That was.
Yes. Yeah. It's not all Hydra. So my point being that that resignation, obviously Fury was aware of it. It was in his coffin, so he received the message. It had to be within a couple days, or within 2 weeks of the events in Avengers 1, because he was still on the duty. He was still doing his job, essentially waiting for his pass to leave.
I guess that's another question too, because he talks about the other test subjects.
Yeah, I'm curious who they were.
And
Mhm.
are there any more out? Like, are there ones out there still that
That are
maybe
not
have
dead.
their right that aren't dead? And what happened to them?
Yeah. Well, then that's another thing. Like we just saw that video. There could be other files on that drive that we haven't seen yet, and that could be all of the data for the tests, like all the test subjects, who and what and their fates. And that may be something they explore in future episodes of like coming across another one of these examples and chasing it down and finding like maybe there is someone who lived and that's this person and
Right.
and they go visit that person to see what their state is. And maybe one of the people on the list turns out to be someone we already know.
Darn it!
Hmm.
You just revealed the overarching plot for next season.
Oh boy.
Them hunting
Maybe.
down other people from the Tahiti Project.
It's something. I don't want that to be the entire storyline for the next season.
That won't be the
No, but it's
entire.
a good subplot though.
It is a good subplot, absolutely. But we'll see. Well, anyway, we're running a little over half an hour now, so I think we'll
Yeah, we'll
put a
wrap it
pin
up.
in this one and wrap it up.
Hmm.
So we'll go to final thoughts. Dave, we'll go with you first today.
Deep thoughts. Oh wait, no, final thoughts. So like I said, the overall story worked with this one. I mean, it made sense. I just had a couple little issues. Like I know I wasn't 100% happy with Maria Hill, like I said, and the I know unspoken lying going on between Sky and Ward just got really like, oh god, this is just so bad. I can't watch this. The oh, I just caught him. Oh, okay. That was just very frustrating. Um, but other than that, you know, Deathlock stating his motivations finally to Sky, I thought was very poignant. You know, and Ward and Sky having their moment, I thought was important to move everything forward. So yeah, I mean, all in all, I guess I would give this one. Hmm, I'm still gonna give it an 8. You know, I think
Okay.
it's. I think we're building up to a kick-ass season finale, though. I can't wait for that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think it'll be exciting. John, your thoughts?
My thoughts. Well, the plane ride over here was really long. The food was terrible,
Thoughts
and
on the show, John. Thoughts on the show.
oh. I'm really missing my office setup and a good internet connection. So let's see. Yeah, I have to give points to S.H.I.E.L.D. for being the only organization I know of that can skydive with a car.
Oh, we didn't even talk about
So
Lola.
Yeah.
yeah, Lola got shot. Oh my God. Uh,
I
yeah,
love
Coulson's
I love the frazzled hair that she had afterward.
Yes.
Like that
Oh,
little
did
dance.
it?
Oh,
Was there? Were there any connotations there that anybody else got that were like, oh
Well, there were
God?
definitely connotations there, but I love how the valet just turns around and is like, "That'll be $20."
Yeah.
Like it was no
But
big deal. Like a
yeah.
car didn't just land out of the sky in
Oh yeah,
perfectly
that's
parallel
headphones
park.
on. He was in his iPhone. You know how it is.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So beyond that, yeah, I agree with Dave that this is looking like this was like the pause before the two episode season ender where we're just
Yep.
going to be sitting there with our mouths open the whole time, hopefully. And so I personally I'd give this one, yeah, I'll give this one a 7 because yeah, it was a filler. It was okay. How do we get them into their starting positions, and then go?
Yeah. And I'll agree. It was transitional. It was staging things. But I think they still definitely had some good momentum. They had some important
Oh yeah,
exposition that happened here that I really enjoyed. Like
Sky.
yeah, and Sky, being kick-ass and all that fun stuff, and all the things we talked about. I honestly, I have to say, I really like this one. I think it's a definitely a good lead to the to the end of the season, and I look forward to what's coming next. I'm going to give it an 8.5. And hopefully I can half step up each of the next 2 episodes. So
Hopefully.
because no one gets 10 capes, it just doesn't happen.
No.
Not
No
unless
one
they
but
show.
John.
It would
John
take
gets 10 capes.
it would take a miracle for me to give 10 capes to anything. I'm just saying.
Thor showing up in the show.
The day may come, but I'm not saying it's not likely to happen in the next 2 episodes. But hopefully I'm wrong. So, anyway,
Cool.
that's all we got for tonight, folks. All those folks that are not watching this yet, and as usual, we'll see you less than a week from today, assuming everyone actually has the bandwidth to be here on time next week.
Okay.
Not naming any names. I'm just saying. So next Tuesday, 9 o'clock, be there or be somewhere more important. Don't get your cape get caught in the. Don't let your cape get caught in the door. Man, how do you say that every time?
Spit it out.
Good night.